He's pretending to be somebody he's not. I don't think that's a good thing for this country.
I doubt your cabinet believes you. I doubt your family believes you.
Breaking right now, a shock bid by Labour to get Julia Hartley Brewer and Mike Graham, the two star presenters of Talk TV, taken off air. And unfortunately, we're going to see a lot more of this in this Labour-controlled administration, which believes it should have a stranglehold on free speech. We're going to get reaction from Alex Phillips, who is, of course, one of the star presenters at Talk, in just one moment. But first, let me take you through this shocking, really, really shocking call from the Labour MP Mike Tapp, who wrote of Julia Hartley Brewer and Mike Graham. These two entertainment presenters, they are not journalists, need to be sacked. There is no place for this behaviour within the British media. Now, this was in response to two specific posts between Julia and The Sun. Let me take you through that first. So this is where Julia wrote, "Oh, just a politician thinking he gets to decide who can and who can't work in the British media because he doesn't like what they say. Nothing to see here." Julia had originally posted in response to the Keir Starmer fire at his house. The Met Police have narrowed down the list of arson suspects to 70 million people. That's a joke, right? Very, very funny. In Mike Graham's case, it was quoting a post from Keir Starmer saying security at home, strength abroad, and he simply pointed out a fact: his own house got firebombed. Now, the other side of politics are disgusted about this. Susan Hall, the Conservative who ran against Sadiq Khan to become the Mayor of London, wrote, "Who do you think you are, Mike Tapp? Both Julia Hartley Brewer and Mike Graham are much respected journalists, and very many of us would rather listen to them, quite frankly, than you." And it got me thinking, I wonder why Labour wants to take Mike Graham and Julia Hartley Brewer off air. Watch.
Donald Trump for having pictures of Winston Churchill knocking around. This is the same Prime Minister who removed portraits of Winston Churchill from his office. So what does that tell you? You know, he's pretending to be somebody he's not. I don't think that's a good thing for this country. I don't think it's a good thing for our image. I don't think it's a good thing for the Prime Minister to be a duplicitous, completely and utterly hypocritical liar. How is that good in any way, shape or form? And coming out with that letter going to Donald Trump, "Oh, and I've got this letter here from the King. Would you like to come and sleep at Balmoral? Because that'll be really great, and that'll mean that we're really good friends and we can all have a sleepover together." I mean, do me a small favour.
The trouble is, Prime Minister, no one believes you. Voters don't believe you. I doubt many of your MPs believe you. I doubt your cabinet believes you. I doubt your family believes you. I don't think even you believe it at all. When you say that you need to get immigration down, but you refuse to set a cap to what you think it should be, because the last few caps have all failed. I remember the simpler, happier times of tens of thousands of migrants coming to this country, not the hundreds of thousands we currently have. But when you have no cap, we can't believe a word you say.
So, Alex Phillips, Julia Hartley Brewer and Mike Graham are two of the biggest personal critics of Keir Starmer in the British mainstream media. For a Labour MP to suggest for even a single second that they should not be allowed to broadcast, Alex, is utterly terrifying. And unfortunately, we see so much more of this. I mean, in my case, for example, we had Gordon Brown, the former Prime Minister, come out saying, "I should never be allowed to broadcast on British television again." This was after a situation where Lawrence Fox made a comment on my show that people were disgusted by, and apparently I should have admonished him in some way. This is terrifying, Alex. The idea that any American politician would try and silence a journalist would just not happen. Why do politicians in this country feel it's acceptable rather than totally authoritarian?
Yeah, and then when you look at some of the things that the left wing say and the left wing shock jocks, it's worse. You know, what Mike Graham and Julia Hartley Brewer were doing there was some tongue in cheek play on social media. If there had been, a serious outcome to that fight, if someone had been injured, if the property had fully burnt down, I doubt they would have gone there. They would have realised that it would be beyond the pale to make jokes about it. But these weren't the most, offensive jokes going. And yet when you look at left wing shock jocks, when you look at that interview with Emily Maitlis accusing Rupert Lowe of being a racist, like I said, that's a very serious accusation. It's a very strong word to be levelling against someone. When you look at people like James O'Brien and the contempt with which he treats people and the sort of lies that he spins as well, blaming all the riots on Nigel Farage, for instance, that to me is dangerous. But you don't have the right wing turn around and say these people ought to be taken off air, these people ought to be silent. Just think,
Never.
hey, there's free speech and people can say what they like to say and fight their corners. But the left wing often revert to this idea that everybody needs in some way, shape or form to be controlled if they're not on the same side of the fence as them because they are dangerous. And so you get this time and time again. I've never even heard of this Mike Tapp. I doubt his own mother's ever heard of him. So I don't really think it's any sort of serious accusation. And I would love to see the Labour Party go up against a Murdoch controlled broadcast channel and dictate to them who and who shouldn't be part of that. They would soon realise which side their bread was buttered. But it is, we just see this all the time from the left, and especially those who are a bit wet behind the ears or sort of, nobodies or has-beens who aren't really part of the political conversation anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting, this Mike Tapp guy, because he seems to be becoming a bit of a Labour attack dog and is building up quite a lot of traction, actually. And it concerns me that they are so comfortable with the concept of censorship, because you're completely right, by the way, Alex. I mean, I very clearly remember when Novara Media, now that's the outfit that's home to Ash Sarkar, that's home to Owen Jones. They've been utterly vile about me personally over the years. But I remember when they were deplatformed on YouTube, and who were two of the first people to speak up for them, Alex? Myself and Julia Hartley Brewer. Because actually, we so fundamentally believe in free speech on the right, if you're a true small c conservative, that we don't want to see our enemies deplatformed or lose the ability to earn their living. And it's the arrogance as well of just saying that Julia Hartley Brewer and Mike Graham, because they're critics of Keir Starmer, that they're not journalists, that they're entertainers. I mean, I think they're absolutely journalists. They just happen to be entertaining journalists, which is great because it means their message gets more traction. But first, we have been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now, one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. They hardly make a dent on your appearance. Some can even be harmful to your skin, he said. Recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices so that he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. He says it's almost like Photoshop for your face. You may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view. His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. So in light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public. It is free, it is uninterrupted, and he will outline exactly how to use this simple solution from home. He says if it helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, he will be thrilled knowing he helped. Now, you won't be surprised to learn the video's gone viral, started on Facebook, well over 2 million views and counting. And the comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One even commented, "Best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you." So you can find out more about this yourself right now. Go to bhmd1.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description box below. That's bhmd1.com/outspoken. youtube.com/outspoken. Now, there is one thing Dr. Lake asks from his viewers. If watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones, because together we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. Go watch the video at bhmd1.com/outspoken right now, or just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, look, this is what, when you're on a channel like Talk, it is a mixture of entertainment, because you're sitting in a studio for 3 hours and trying to keep yourself occupied and other people entertained, and news and views and opinions. And there's often ding dongs of people from the other side of the fence. But it is a very uniquely flavored channel. People who listen to it know what they're getting. They know the sort of presenters who are there and the sort of views they probably hold. And frankly speaking, they have their own alternatives. You know, they can go and listen to Emily Maitlis and be synthetically offended by anything she might have to say. We live now in a very divided world where politics has become very, very tribal, and there are more and more voices out there. And because of such a competitive marketplace, like I was suggesting earlier, attitudes being aired and the way in which they're being aired tend to be more strident and more colourful in order to stand out from the crowd in a marketplace that is frankly becoming cluttered. But the left wing always do this. They always say, oh, someone's dangerous. They're dangerous because they believe something that we don't believe in. And yet, actually, when you look on the surface of it, all the things that are actually doing great harm to the country, be it net zero, be it uncontrolled borders, those are the real perils facing this country.
Well, indeed. And obviously, Alex, you know that I see the hope and the future in the independent media, but I am increasingly concerned that, I guess, the few champions that we have in the mainstream media, so certainly Mike and Julia and the rest of the team at Talk, you know, yourself, Ian Collins, Kevin O'Sullivan, David Bull, all great people. I worry about this muzzling that's going on, because we've already seen it happen at GB News, Alex. I mean, both of us would say, and we were obviously launch presenters at GB News, incredibly passionate about the project, desperate for it to go well. But I don't think either of us can honestly say that that is the free speech broadcaster that we joined and that we initially championed, because for right or wrong, it has been totally muzzled by Ofcom. So it's the Ofcommunists, as I call them. So it's not unrealistic to think that there is a genuine drive, if not to shut the channels down altogether, to sanitize them. And the problem with that sanitization is that you lose viewership and then you lose support. Now, of course, for me, that's great, because I'm like, come on over, come to YouTube, or you're like, come to That's What She Said on Substack. But of course, as you've also always pointed out to me, Alex, there are people in this country who rely on the mainstream media for their information still.
Yeah, and of course, we are now entering a realm where Ofcom's soon to be governing things that are said on social media and on digital platforms as well. The regulator is going to have even more extensive powers. Now, part of that, I think, is good in terms of, I do think we need to regulate very dangerous content, genuinely dangerous content, such as hypersexualized content, you know, some of the pornography that's out there, so on and so forth. But the things that people aren't talking about governing is propaganda that is attacking, you know, targeted at children in particular, on things like you can be 85 different genders. And I read a fascinating piece by Jonathan Hall, who is at the moment looking into the dangers of social media and elections and foreign entities trying to, destabilize the United Kingdom. And I thought to myself, oh gosh, here we go. Is this going to be a precursor to try and suggest that reform is somehow infiltrated or has been aggrandized by international interference, which I don't think is true at all. But it wasn't. He was talking about things such as these extreme leftist propagandas. He talks about how enemy states might be trying to ramp up the threat of net zero to force this country to take economic policies that are completely disastrous. And same, he brought up gender and all the rest of it. So it's good to see that people have actually woken up to the real gender. The real dangers out there are actually the sort of extreme left-wing politics that became so readily normalized by the big broadcasters, and the regulator didn't do anything about it. The regulator didn't say, hello, should we be making sure that there aren't sort of narratives about questioning gender in children's programs? No, they absolutely went for it. They loved it. So this is my big concern, that even the regulator itself gets swept up with all of these mad neo-religions that are the things that are genuinely harmful to our society, palpably so.
Alex, you know, you mentioned James O'Brien earlier, and I think we both share a visceral disregard, because as you say, actually, so much of what he has done has been divisive and actually dangerous for this country. But again, I stress, neither of us are calling for him to be taken off air. And sometimes, isn't humour the best way to poke fun at these idiots? And this new comedian, Tony Lapidus, has gone totally viral because he has done the best spoof of James O'Brien I've ever seen, and it totally makes a very serious point. So laugh at this, but also see the point that he's making.
11 is the time when Sheila's calling from Portsmouth. Sheila, what's on your mind?
Oh, hi, James. I'm so upset. This morning, I turned the telly on and I've seen Donald Trump giving another press conference.
Okay.
And I'm just still in so much shock that this is the leader of the free world, that I just dropped my glass and spilt my drink all over the floor.
Oh gosh, Sheila, I'm so sorry to hear that. But of course, one of the things that I've learnt from my listeners over the years that I didn't know before is that the physiological reaction that can be induced by the vulgar sight of Donald Trump is very real, but you crack on.
Right, and what makes it so much worse is that it was a glass of orange juice, so you can imagine how I feel every time I've got to see that stain on my carpet.
Well, obviously, the implication being that you're now being forced to imagine Donald Trump's face smeared all over your carpet. I get it.
Exactly, James. That makes me emotional. I'm so sorry.
Hey, don't apologise. Take all the time that you need.
Honestly, James, I can't even drink orange juice anymore.
Well, don't be too harsh on yourself, Sheila. You're not the first person to feel utter disgust with the slimy presence of the Orange Man that we're all forced to endure together now. I mean, I find it utterly unbearable to walk past certain items in the supermarkets these days that once upon a happy time brought me almost a beatific joy. I mean, Terry's chocolate orange, Jaffa cakes, these are all ubiquitous reminders of Donald Trump's fascist dictatorship.
James, honestly, I think I need therapy because of Donald Trump.
Oh, that's nothing to be ashamed of, Sheila.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
Oh, bless you. I'm going to have to let you go because I'm late for the headlines, but there it is. It wasn't too long ago that I remember that we were all being told that the future's bright, the future's orange. Those of us who are old enough to remember. Remember that? How's that working out for you?
Well done, Tony Lapidus. That's good, isn't it, Alex?
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. He gets every single mannerism absolutely spot on. I love it when people can do that, when people are that good at impersonating other people, that they don't even have to look like the person, that you just know instantly who it's supposed to be.
Very true. And it's nice to end on something like that also gives us a bit of joy, but makes a political point, which we were trying to make. Alex Phillips, so brilliant to have you. And of course, Alex is the author of That's What She Said, which you can find on Substack. Thank you, Alex. We will speak next week. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.